My arrogant brother-in-law laughed in my face during our company's acquisition meeting and announced he was firing me from the tech firm I had built. Then, the lead investor leaned forward, tapped his pen on the glass table, and said, "You can't fire the actual owner." The nightmare started when my older sister married Greg. I was 22, fresh out of college, and had just developed a revolutionary cybersecurity algorithm. Greg was 10 years older, a smooth talker with an MBA and a massive network of angel investors. We teamed up. He became the CEO and the face of the company, while I stayed in the basement writing code as the chief technology officer. At first, it was a great partnership, but as the company grew into a $150 million enterprise, Greg's ego exploded. He started taking sole credit for the technology in magazine interviews. He moved my office to a windowless room on a lower floor. When we hit our 5-year milestone, Greg bought himself a customized sports car on the company dime. I got a branded corporate fleece jacket. Everyone knew Greg controlled the narrative. He controlled the board, the press releases, and the finances. He treated me like a disposable IT guy, assuming I was too passive to ever challenge him. I never argued. I just kept my head down, maintained the servers, and quietly handled my own paperwork. The buyout meeting happened on a rainy Thursday. A massive Silicon Valley tech giant had offered $150 million to acquire our firm. The conference room was packed with their lawyers, our executives, and the lead investor, an intimidating man named Marcus. Greg strutted into the room wearing a bespoke suit, practically vibrating with excitement. He took his seat at the head of the table. Before Marcus could even open the acquisition portfolio, Greg held up a hand. "Before we finalize," Greg said, flashing his signature polished smile, "we need to clean house. The board has decided to terminate our CTO." He slid a severance agreement across the table toward me. It offered me a pathetic 6 months of salary and forced me to forfeit my equity in the company. "Your skills are just a bit outdated for where we are heading," Greg said smoothly. "Security is waiting by your desk to escort you out. I just don't want there to be any dead weight moving forward." That was when Marcus, the lead investor, started chuckling. At first, it was just a low rumble in his chest, but then he laughed so hard he had to set down his coffee mug. Greg frowned, his polished smile slipping. "What's so funny?" Marcus wiped his mouth. "Greg, you really should have read the due diligence report." The room fell dead silent. Marcus opened a thick black folder and placed a single document in the center of the table. "3 years ago, when your CTO developed the version 4 update, the specific technology we are paying $150 million for, he didn't register the patent to your corporation. He registered it to a private holding company." Greg's face went completely pale. He sat bolt upright. "What?" Marcus nodded at me. "Every line of code you rely on is licensed exclusively from him, and that license expires the second he is no longer an employee." Greg lunged for the paperwork. "This is illegal. This is a breach of contract." "It's completely airtight," Marcus replied. "We had 5 lawyers check it. Your CTO recognized that corporate funds were being aggressively mismanaged into your personal accounts. Instead of starting a messy public lawsuit that would scare away buyers, he simply secured his intellectual property." Marcus then looked directly at Greg. "We aren't buying your company, Greg. We are buying his patent. The new offer is $140 million directly to his holding company. We are offering you $10 million for your office leases and branding, which will exactly cover your outstanding corporate debts." Nobody spoke. For the first time in a decade, Greg wasn't smiling. He had no leverage, no product, and suddenly, no payout. He had spent years acting like he was the undisputed king of the empire, completely oblivious to the fact that I held the keys to the castle. As we packed up our briefcases to leave the conference room, Marcus paused by the door, looked back at Greg's stunned face, and shook his head. "You spent so much time being the face of the company," Marcus said quietly. "You completely forgot who was acting as its brain."